Okay, we're going to go ahead and start recording. So we have Sally with us. She was top PV in the company, top 10. And we're going to learn a little bit about her secrets and just her journey. I met her at Leaders Retreat. And she's such a joy, and she's just so much fun to be with. And so I cannot wait to hear what she has to say about what she's doing. So Sally, take the floor.
Okay, so yes, Tiffany and Cassie are one of my favorites. So I kind of just feel like I'm part of your team already with Jana and everyone. So you have an amazing, amazing team with awesome leaders. Every time Tiffany comes through town, I make her stop and say hi to me. So yes, I met Cassie at Leaders Retreat, and then Tiffany, she just reached out to me shortly after that and introduced herself, and we hit it off big time. So personalities matched great. So that's one thing right there off the bat I could probably give you advice to do is reach out to people that you admire following. Just send them a quick message and say, hey, you don't know me, but I've been following you. I want to know your secrets, or I just want to introduce myself, and keep it short. Don't bore them with anything. That was one of the first things. So a little bit of my background is I started back in March of last year. So I've been doing it for a little over a year. I'm Ruby, just met Ruby a couple weeks ago. And my story is that I've always been thin, so I didn't need to lose weight. And everyone told me I'd fail when I started. They're like, you have nothing to prove. Who's going to want to buy from you? The crazy thing is I was one of those people that worked out 3 times a day to try to stay fit. Have 2 kids who are crazy active in everything. Own a business. We're opening our 2nd business. So I have a really, really, really busy lifestyle. But I was like, I needed the probiotic, and I drank like 8 sodas a day and 8 Milk Duds and Kit Kats for lunch. So that's my story. So my best friend Kelly, who's my upline, we worked together in Des Moines, and she was I was in her wedding, and we've just been friends since then. Reached out to me, and she was just like, hey, I'm not going to pressure you, but I really think you would benefit from plexus. And I was like, I've never, ever taken a pill in my life. Please don't make me swallow pills. I don't want to remember how to do that. So it's like, she's like, 60-day money back guarantee. If you don't like it, try it. There, you get your full refund. So I tried it. I hated it. And I told her that I hated it. I still don't like the taste of it unless it's frozen. So what I do with my pink drink is I freeze it for like 20 minutes, and it turns into a beautiful slushie, and it tastes like something for Sonic. So that's huge. And I tell a lot of people that they don't like the taste of it. It changes the taste if you just freeze it. So that's one of my secrets. It's not really a secret, but that's just how I drink it. So I tried it, loved it, started posting about it. I was a huge poster on Facebook already because my family, nobody lives around us, and I know no one in Kansas. And they all live in Iowa, so I've always posted a lot on Facebook about my family and my kids. Well, it was really easy for me just to add a plexus post here and there. And this is one huge secret, which I don't think is a secret, but I tell my team this, and they are dumbfounded that it really makes sense. But people do not buy plexus. They buy your lifestyle and the way that product impacts your lifestyle. So whether or not, what I do every time an ambassador who wants to be an active business ambassador, I ask them what their background is. And if I have a nurse, we sit down and we talk for 10 minutes. And I'm like, so what do you do on a day-to-day basis? And she'll tell me, and I'll be like, that's how plexus can fit in. That's how this can fit in, or that's whatever. So like an example of that is my husband and I own a business. We're going to open a year next week. And we were working 20 hours a day. And when I was working 20 hours a day, I would take a picture of Edge and say, I couldn't do this without my Edge. It keeps me going throughout the night, or whatever. So whatever product you're taking and how it's impacting your life, post about it. So you shouldn't have to spend hours looking for posts to copy and paste of other people's stuff. It should come natural to you because it's affecting your lifestyle that way. So if you have a dog or whatever that wakes you up in the middle of the night barking at thunderstorms, I don't know, Edge or Slim helps you get energy going if you don't have kids. I have people on my team that don't have kids, and they're like, you have kids, it's easy for you to post. Well, there's other things in your life you can post about, whether it's a dog, whether it's one of my runners, she has nothing. She posts about the weather every day. She gives a weather recap, and that is her post. So find what is your thing and post about it consistently. So that's another thing, is that people will watch you. Everyone who has been reaching out to me lately, I have never reached out to them before ever, and they're like, I have seen every one of your posts. You are consistent. They're waiting for you to fail. They're waiting for you to quit. They're watching you, and you don't know it. So that's one big thing, that I don't get many likes on my comments. I don't get many likes or comments on my posts. And that's one of those things that you have to get over. Like, just be okay with people not liking or commenting on your post, because people are watching you. So when I first started, I would call Brittany, and she's my upline's upline. And I would be like, I hate this. I need the instant gratification of people knowing that they're reading my posts and that they like my stuff, because I'm going to stop doing it if they don't continue to like it, because I'm embarrassed that because I was new, I knew the products worked, but people thought I was probably crazy because I wasn't overweight. And there's this thin girl posting about products that, they don't need a story. So I would call her, and I will never forget. I'm like, Brittany, nobody's liking my post. Like, I hate this. I don't want to continue to do this. She's like, Sally, people are watching. And she was right. Like, I went gold. I went silver my very first month. So I signed my sister-in-law, and my mom up, because I didn't want to pay for products. We're not poor, but I'm very thrifty. Like, I shop at Goodwill and Savers. Like, I got some really cool frames yesterday, and at Savers, and painted in black, and they look like they came from a gallery. Like, things like that. And people it's one of those things that I wanted to get my products for free, and all I had to do was add 3 people. So I did it. And then I went gold like 4 months after, and all I did was post on Facebook. The biggest thing why I don't do plexus, and tonight was my first get together with my ambassadors, and I only have 5 of them here in Kansas, but I sent out an invitation. I was like, stop by, I just want everyone to get to know each other. And they're not actively selling, but I really kind of wanted them not to show up, because I wanted to be like, this is why I do plexus, because I send out these invites and nobody shows up. Like, no parties. Plexus does no parties. Like, I really wanted to post that, and then 4 of them showed up. I was like, dang it, you guys ruined my post. So anyway, that's a big thing, is that I hate parties. I don't have time for them. I barely have time with my own kids during the day, let alone everything else that's on my life. So that's a huge thing that I push with ambassadors who want to sell, because people do the sip and sees, and then go out and do the, the tents and everything, but you'll never see me do that. You can mark my words. I will never do it. I don't have time. If you take the time to look with my busy lifestyle, I'm missing so many opportunities that if I don't talk to people at gas stations or grocery stores, at whatever, you're missing the opportunity. Like, you are around so many people, unless you stay in your house all day long, which then you have social media. You're missing all those people that you could be talking to. Now, have I always been social? Absolutely not. Leaders Retreat, when I first met Cassie, I was terrified. I brought my family, and my 8-year-old daughter had to tell me not to be scared. She was like, Sally, you got this, or Mom, you got this, you got this. And I was terrified. I was sitting in my room, and I was like, I'm scared. Like, I've only been doing this for 6 months. I don't want to go. There's all these big wigs, these diamonds. There's all these teams here. I'm like, I have nobody. My upline didn't earn it. My upline's upline didn't earn it. Nobody on our whole team earned it except for me. And I'm like, I want to go because my family's never had a vacation in 4 years. So let's just go and do this. So we went, and I was terrified, throwing up, sick to my stomach. My daughter told me, get a grip, Mom, get a grip. And she's one that's best friends with everyone. She's Tiffany's daughter, who's you never meet them, and then she's your best friend. But anyway, so I just started going up to everyone, and I was like, I'm Sally, I'm brand new. I just turned gold. I've been with Plexus 6 months. I just want to know your name and introduce myself. And that's all I said. And I probably added 80, 90 people that weekend. Terrified, but you have to do it. And that was my curbing point of getting over the hump of not being scared to talk to people. And until you do that, you have to force yourself, or you won't grow. So that was my biggest thing. And us owning a business, it's the same way with Toppers. It's Toppers Pizza. I don't know if any of you are from the Midwest, but it was based out of the Midwest, and we opened up pizza. And I go around and talk to businesses every day about selling pizza. And it's the same thing. I can go into the same business 4 times in a row, but they are not going to buy my pizza. And it's pizza, for God's sakes. It makes everyone happy. They don't buy it from me until my 6th time of going in there and telling them about it, because they're used to hearing Domino's or Pizza Hut or Papa John's or whatever. And that's the same with Plexus, is that if you contact them once and you sit back and you hope that they come to you, they're not going to. It's the reality of business, and it's any business. So unless you're the face of Plexus, or I'm the face at Toppers, they're going to know, hey, that's that Toppers girl that drives the red Jeep. you know, there's so many people around town that are like, who's the girl that drives the red Jeep? And why is she in Olathe? Like, isn't the store in Mission? They're like, yeah, she owns a business in Olathe. But what I'm saying is that don't just sit back and message one person or post on Facebook and expect them to come to you. So that's one of the biggest things I've learned about reaching out to people. They're watching you, so don't give up posting because they are watching. But if you aren't consistent and you post here and there and you really could care less, don't even expect to grow your business because it's not going to work because people are like, she, you know, doesn't care. But another thing about posting is, and I don't know if I already said this, I may have, is that you're selling your life. So don't act desperate about selling the I don't know, you guys all know, you can put a picture of the same picture that 7 other ambassadors have used the same day, or you can take your own picture with your own face or your own kid with the product, and they are going to relate to your family versus somebody else's. I mean, if you're going to just put up a picture of, say, this body cream, or have like a little sample, just a body cream or whatever without anybody in it, they don't know that's you. You know, they're going to be like, oh, great, but I know another girl who sells that, and they're going to go sign up under that other girl that sells it because they have no idea that you're related to that image or you're related to that message you sent, you know, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Because if they're like me, I'll look at the message and I won't respond. A lot of people, I do have like a personal note as far as like sending messages versus voicemailing. I know Jess always talks about sending voice messages because you can hear the excitement in your voice. I'm actually really against doing that because I am very busy around a lot of people all the time. Unless I have a headset or Bluetooth, which I don't, I'm not going to listen to that voicemail. If you're driving, I get it. Maybe I'll listen to it when I'm driving, but I like Cassie's message. I didn't even listen to it. Nothing against Cassie. I'm sure she was busy, but I didn't listen to it until like 5 minutes before because I was like, I didn't even listen to it because it was a voicemail, and I can't hear that stuff because I'm constantly around tons and tons of people. And the last thing, especially toppers, I can't be listening to plexus stuff. You people who work double jobs probably understand that too. Is if you can't post during the day or whatever, find a different way to send your messages, whether you have it on the time thing. I don't know what it's called, but I don't personally do that because I relate it to my life every post I make. But I get the people who can't post during the day who have like bosses and stuff that watch them. Just find that, I don't remember, there's an app for it that you can like time it out to post while you're at work, whatever. So those are like my biggest things as far as, oh, I'm on here to talk about PV. So the difference between PV and points, y'all should know this, but PV is from your customers, so your retailer preferred people, and points is from your ambassadors. So I did not get any, I only have really 2 people, maybe 8 or 9 that are working the business, but 2 that are really like care to like go big or go home in the business. And I didn't have them starting to work the business until probably 8 or 9 months after I joined. So before they joined, I had 121 of my own ambassadors that I signed up. I think I have 220 some right now. So my thing is super, super, super wide. And I didn't care because as your leader, you can never, ever, ever, because I was like this, and it takes a lot of balls to admit this, but I was one that said, my upline's really not in it. Like, she hasn't given me any direction. Well, my upline also runs a huge arena that national basketball players play at, and she's crazy busy. Right now, she's gotten back in the game and everything, and she did apologize to me. She's like, I'm so sorry. Thank you for sticking with me, but I was not the leader I should have been. So never, ever, ever blame your leader because it's not your leader to go up. My leader and I are both rubies. We turn rubies the exact same day. I am going to be maybe over her at some point. That's my goal. We're very competitive, so I set that as a goal of mine, and she knows that. So I push her, and she pushes me, and we work really good together. But the whole thing is that it's all on you. It has nothing to do with your upline or your leader. You have to be independent. You have to be strong-minded to want to go for it and not let anybody help you because you don't need help. There's YouTube videos out there. You can Google or Facebook, search anything you possibly want, and it will get you a long ways. So you have to put the work into it to reap the benefits. Don't just sit back and let people do it for you. So that's a little advice. But as far as customers and ambassadors, I don't have any. I've had a lot of high PV. Like I had 3,000 January, February, March. And right now it's at 2,200. So the thing is that I just constantly work relationships. I constantly like talk about plexus. I post about plexus all the time. I will sometimes cold message. I don't do it very often, honestly, because I don't make the time. I just don't have time. I'm really busy. And when I'm not saying that just to say that, I really am a busy person. But anyway, I give them the option. When somebody says to me, Sally, how much is it? Just say the triplex. I recommend the triplex to every single person. They ask what they should recommend. I said triplex. I said 3 ways to buy. Retail, it's awful, non-recommended, don't ever do it. And I say that to them because they have to know that's an option. And then I say preferred, you get 10% off retail, or ambassador, 25% off. And then you have the option to sell if you work the business if you want. A lot of people do not like ambassador because they have to put a social security number in. I live in the area that I'm kind of lucky. Well, now I'm kind of getting into the area that they're saying money is an issue, but I haven't really had a lot of people with money to issue. So they sign up as preferred right away. And I always tell them, like, you can always sign up as preferred, because they're kind of like, why do I have to put a social in? Or why do I have to work the business or whatever? It's like, you don't have to. I was like, there's wholesale and then there's business ambassadors. But I'll tell them you can always sign up as preferred, and then you can always upgrade as an ambassador. And that gives them like a relief on their face. And they're like, whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could upgrade. I'm like, absolutely, anytime. I said, sign up as a preferred and you can upgrade a month later to save more money. It's totally up to you if you want. It's a 60-day money back guarantee, so it's your choice. So I never, ever, ever tell them to sign up as a preferred. I never tell them to sign up as an ambassador. I just said, these are your 3 ways. Whatever works for you, works for you. And I have a ton of people sign up as preferred. Why that is, I don't know, because they've said money is an issue. They don't really care. A lot of them do not want to put their social security number in. So once they do pick what it is, I always send them a welcome email that has like, take your measurements, drink your water, and this is what product you got, and here's a little explanation of each of them. Send that welcome email, and then like 2 weeks later, I write in my calendar. So if they sign up, hopefully you all have a calendar. 2 weeks later, I put their name down, follow up with Julie or whatever. So then I'll follow up with Julie, and I'll just say, hey, just checking to see how you're liking, if you've got your products and how you're liking it. She'll either not respond. Most of them don't respond, which is fine. You just got to get used to the no response. I really got really mad at people not responding, and that was just part of it, and I expect it. And if I get a response, I'm like, giddy. But that's just normal for people. And if they don't respond, so be it. And then I'll mark them down for a month from then, and I'll be like, I'll just say something like, are you staying consistent? How are the products? Are you staying consistent? Like right now is a really, really great time to message every single person you've ever contacted and just say, the new Slim is amazing. Have you tried it yet? That's it. Don't say any more than that, because if you get more wordy than like 10 words, you're done, and people could care less. You're either trying to sell them or push them too hard, and they don't want to get cornered, I guess. So those are, I guess, the biggest things, just following up with them, because if you don't follow up with them and they have bad diet, you're going to lose them. So I think that's one that I've been able to stay consistent. I had like 3,000 PV the last, like January, February, March, and it dropped down to like 1,900 in February. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to make top 25. Like I was really, really nervous, and I ended up getting like number 4 still. But I tried to figure out why I lost so many customers, and I went back, and it's a lot of customers had ordered double packs in January and February. That's probably A, why my PV was so high, and B, why they didn't order 2 months later, because they didn't need it. So this month I'm back up to 2,200, but it's one of those things that I will follow up with them, and they do really appreciate that. They appreciate you caring, because you actually do. You're not in it just to make money off them, off their first purchase. You're in it to help them on their journey of health and wellness. So if you're feeling better, you want them to feel better. So that's a constant thing, is the relationships that you build with them, and how you make them feel is going to be way more than selling and pushing a product. I don't know what else you want. Do you have any questions? I mean, I don't know if that covered everything.
Let me unmute myself. That was key point. I think I do have questions. And I know y'all, if y'all have questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat too, or we can open them up. I'm going to ask a couple of the ones really quick. Really quick. Have you tried Lexi, and do you like it?
I have not tried Lexi. I think it's a pain in the ass, actually. The reason why I say that is because you have to input all your information, and you can only input 30. I have 225 ambassadors. How am I going to pick 30? Like, that was my first thing. And I had ambassadors ask me, I'm like, I'm organized. I'm very organized. I have a binder of every person I contact and when I should contact them next. Now, if you don't have that system, I send them every email. Like, so when I get a welcome email, it stays bold in my inbox until I reply to it. So I know that I replied to it. Then I write it down in my calendar. So I'm very organized with keeping up on my customers, even if I have over 300 at this point, and I do. I mean, on Mother's Day, I probably sent out 215 emails just saying Happy Mother's Day, and that's it. I do it on every holiday. Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Happy New Year's Eve. It's a non-plexus message to let them know you care about them. It's not just harping on them about, oh, when's your next order? Or when are you staying consistent? I mean, I didn't have a lot of girlfriends in high school or friends. I had guy friends, and I worked on the farm my whole life. So to have these relationships, like when I see Tiffany coming to town, I'm like, oh my God, it's the girl who's not catty, or, you know, makes me feel like an idiot or whatever. You know, I really, truly want to build relationships with people. So I care about them, and I really do want them to have a wonderful Mother's Day. I could care less. Great, the products are working, but I just want to be your friend. Like, when I first moved to Kansas, I knew nobody. We had no family here. I applied for a modeling job on Craigslist, and I got it. And I just literally, she's like, why do you want to do this? I was like, I want to make friends. Like, I don't know anybody. I want to make friends. I mean, so that's the big thing with this is I just really care about people, and I do want them to love the product. And if they don't love the product, I'm sad, and we'll like readjust it. But I will still, even if they drop off, I've maybe had 3 people drop off, I still send them messages. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you're not ordering for me, I hate you now. You know, you don't want to be that person. You want to be that person that actually you care about them, you know.
I agree. Do you think with your posting and your confidence is what are drawing people in and you're sealing the deal so much?
Yes. I could probably read you 4 or 5 messages I got in the last 2 weeks saying you are such an inspiration. You're so inspirational, but I'm not interested yet. I follow all your posts. Keep me posted. Don't give up on me yet. Like, I follow you all the time. And that's the big thing is that I've had a couple people on my team, they just put all their laundry out on Facebook. Like, they're like, I'm having a bad day, or I can't wait to get home from work, or my kids are driving me crazy. I mean, nobody's gonna want to listen to that. Like, if you put that garbage out on Facebook or any social media, great. My life is not rainbows and butterflies. Okay, we own 2 businesses. I wrote over $1 million in checks today. Like, it was, trust me, I should have showed a check ready to Vulture for all of our expenses. Like, we're stressed out. I get that, but nobody, I mean, and that's everyday life. You don't want to act fake or anything, but there's posts that you need to choose to post and not to post. You know, it's like you want to lift people up. You want to bring your team up. Like, especially if you're a leader, you want your teammates to see that because that's how they're going to post. You know, so I had a team member post about really bad stuff, and I finally reached out. I was like, have you read your post lately? Like, people are not liking that. You have a huge testimony. You've lost 40-some pounds. Like, we need to readjust your posting. And sure enough, she signed somebody the next day. She started posting better, and she was like inspirational and happy and not posting about her whatever in her life that was so terrible. I'm like, nobody wants to read that because they don't go to, what do you do on social media? You go to see, I mean, just sit back and look. When you're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, you're on there to get away from everyday lifestyle, to get away from the stress of your job. If you're on the toilet, you're looking at it because you want your mind to go somewhere else other than what you have to do to get off that toilet and go back to your desk and work and work and work. It's like, so what do you want to post? Whatever you want to read about, if you do want to read about people dying and, you know, crime and hate and somebody's bedroom being dirty or their kids screaming at them, so be friends with them, but more than likely that's not what people want to read about your posts. So you kind of just need to remember what intrigues you to want to get on social media and read about, because that's obviously what other people want to hear.
What platforms do you use? Just Facebook?
Yeah, pretty much. I post on Instagram once in a while. I'm terrible at it. I have never, ever, ever gotten one customer or ambassador off of Instagram. I mean, I know that Celeste talks about a lot, and that's a huge thing for her, but I've even reached out to people that comment on my stuff, and there's no response. I'm not a big fan of it. So all I do is Facebook. Yeah. I have no idea how to do Snapchat. My kids know it, but I've never even tried. I have a Twitter account, but I've never even opened it. Besides for toppers, and I do it for toppers, but that's it. As far as one thing I've always wondered about is they always say make your posts public. And I'm not a fan of that. Like I will do some posts public, but most of them aren't. Most of them are just on my friends. And I don't understand why, but I've never gotten people off that either. But I could be doing it wrong.
I think when Jessica talked about that, it was more of, so when people see the suggested people, when you're at the bottom, and if they click on you, like, who's Sally? Then they can see some of your public posts and kind of figure out what you are, who you are, and what your lifestyle is. And that's how they could add you. But me personally, I don't do a lot of public posts just because, one, I have 2 little girls, so I don't post a lot of publicly because with this business, I don't want to show them, but other to people that I somewhat know. I mean, I'm closer with. And then the other thing is compliance. You have to be really good with compliance. I've already had compliance call me twice from posts from last year that I had made public. So this is why I don't post public either. I do every now and then, but it's more scripture or something like that I share. And I mainly do Facebook too. I've been trying to just post on Instagram, but it's mainly the same thing that I post on Facebook because I have different people on Instagram than I do on Facebook. A lot of people quit Facebook to do Instagram. So you said that you follow up every 2 weeks and then you follow up on the month. Now, is this something that you follow up with Messenger? Do you phone call them? Like, what's the best that you've found to work the best?
I do everything through Facebook Messenger. Everything. Unless they don't have a Messenger account, which I only have one person that has an email. It happens to my parents' really old friend that barely knows how to use technology. We all have one of those.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's Facebook Messenger, and then you can track it. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, Carol, you have come a long way. You've come a long way. Okay. What was my other? Oh, I might ask you if you could share your welcome email with us and maybe some of your wording, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much my questions. I'm gonna raise your hand if y'all have any questions for Sally. I think there's a raised hand thing too, or you can put it in the chat. Anybody?
Perfect. That's easy, right? If you do get top PB, make sure you walk up on stage if you get acknowledged at convention and not be sitting up in the upper bowl.
Well, maybe if you would have known, that would have helped too.
Yeah, I know. That's all good.
That stinks.
That is
but
really embarrassing.
At least we were all like, Sally! And we were trying to. But
it was terrible. Oh well. It was my first convention. I didn't know. I had no idea. We all make mistakes.
Yes, we do. Oh, Kasha has a question. Let me unmute her. Okay, Kasha.
Okay. So I had a screaming baby at the moment that you talked about your organization methods. Can you run over that one more time for me?
Sure. Okay. So if I have, say I'm talking to somebody and they place an order and you get the email, right? It comes in your inbox, your email.
Yeah.
I let it stay black until I know that I've accepted it and responded. So say Julie is a new ambassador or customer, whichever. I always go and look because a lot of times it won't tell you what they ordered. It just gives you the email address. So I always go into my back office and pull up whoever's name, say Julie, and then I'll see what she ordered. And if she ordered Tripex, I'll be like, awesome. So I have like just a saved generic welcome email that says, measure yourself, whatever, like a little intro, and then here's the description of the products you ordered. So it'll say Slim, ProBio, BioCleanse, and then if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And I'll send that to her. So then she'll get an email on the welcome, and then I'll write down in my calendar 2 weeks later to follow up with Julie. So I go through my calendar every morning, and then I'll say 2 weeks later, and I'll send her an email, and I'll say, hey, Julie, just making sure you got your products, because sometimes it can take a week to get her products. So then by 2 weeks, she's on the product for only 1 week. Now, usually you experience die-off like day 8 is when I experienced die-off day 8. And then with like the new Slim and the Vital Biome, a lot of people are experiencing die-offs like a little sooner than day 8. So that gives you a little buffer to catch her before she dies. Like if I say die, but like when people are going through die-off, like it's a big deal. They're going to stop the product if you haven't told them about it. Like they're like, I'm feeling terrible. I feel bloated. What did you give me? Like this is poison. So I'll always like 2 weeks later send a really quick short message via Facebook Messenger and just say, hey, Julie, just checking in to see if you got your products and how your first week of plexus is going. And that's it. So either or not I hear from her or not. If I don't hear from her, fine. If I do, she'll say it's going great, or I'm terrible bloated, it's not doing good, and then we'll work around it. And then I'll put her in my calendar for like a month later to follow up with her. And then at that time, I'll just say, hey, just checking in to see if you're staying consistent with plexus. And it's either, yes, I'm staying consistent, it's going great, I love it, or no, I've been terrible, I don't know how to stay consistent. And then if she says no, I'll be like, listen, take the ProBio at night, take the BioCleanse at night. That's what I do. Put it by your nightstand. You can't forget to take it. And then at that point, you'll crave the Slim, and that's all you have to do. It's super easy. So then that gives you dialogue to talk back and forth. So then you're making sure that she's good, like in the middle of the month, so she's going to reorder next month, you know, and then you just make sure that you know that she's okay. Because if you don't follow up with them, or if you miss their first one and they don't see you trying to reach out and trying to like care what's happening to them, they're going to be like, forget it, I'm getting my money back. You know, then you lose a customer, or they turn white line and they don't want to order it. And then of course it's not going to work. And a lot of people, if they don't have their backup order on, this doesn't really work for me, but I think it's great to say, is if they're white lined, I'll send them a message and be like, hey, like if they're brand new and they don't turn their convenience order on, I'll say, hey, that 60-day money back guarantee is really important if you turn your convenience order on, because that's how you know you're going to stay consistent. It just helps you. And I'll say something like that versus turn your white order on, you know, turn your white line on so I get paid. You know, you don't want to say that. Just word it as, hey, it's there for a reason. There's 60-day money back guarantee. There's a reason why 60 days are there to help you stay consistent, to make sure, you know, the products work the way they're supposed to. They're not, some people it works in 7 days, some people it works in 30, you know. So just explain it to them and be honest. I mean, if you're the type of person that it's way out of your comfort zone to say that, just say, hey, Julie, it's really out of my comfort zone to say this, but I had problems with die-off and I just want to check in to make sure you're feeling okay. Or whatever your personality is.
Awesome.
Do you explain about die-off when they're ordering or before?
No, it's in my welcome email. So, but then I'll follow up like 2 weeks later, and if they say they're dying, I'm like, well, let's die off, and then I'll send them the link to die off that was actually in the welcome email I sent them. Obviously, they didn't read it. Most people don't, but I'll say it was in that email I sent you, but here's another, you know, recap. Yeah. Just push through, drink lots of water, don't give up, because if you give up, you're gonna feel even worse.
I agree. I honestly stopped doing emails just because everybody talks through Facebook. So I usually send the Whitney War video that way, and almost everybody watches it that way versus sending something long. And I always talk about die-off then because I've noticed, and this is why I asked you, because I've noticed in the beginning when I first started, if I didn't explain die-off, they got super frustrated with me that I didn't explain it prior. So yeah. I guess it just depends on.
And I don't send a video. I just send a link to Candida die-off and what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, the video is Whitney War, how she talks about how to take the triplex. It's have you seen the one or no?
No.
I'll have to send it to you. I mean, I've gotten great responses from it because a lot of people, they can understand why they need to take it and why it's important for their body. And a lot of people are visual. So I've gotten a lot of responses on that. Let me think. Anybody else have any questions? Or ask? I think that's it for mine. I really like the fact that you stay in close relationship with them too. It's not just personal. Oh, Rachel. Okay. See, this is why I want to talk about it. She said, I am new. So what is die-off? Die-off is detoxing. Your body's detoxing. It's getting all of what I would say crap out of your body that you've been holding on to for however old you are. Like for me, it'd be 30 something years. And mine, I was sick for a little bit. Everybody's going to have a different form. I know Jana had a little bit of gas burps. I mean, we could all probably talk about our die-off, but that's what that is. It's our body reacting good to these products because these products are trying to work and get those things out of your body. I hope that answers your question. All right.
So
Yeah,
was that Christy who just did that question?
no.
Rachel.
Yes. Rachel.
So what I tell people is that, because I was a prime example of it, is that I just drank soda and ate chocolate all the time. And I never took a probiotic. And what I tell people, there's a visual out there that's probiotic and BioCleanse. And this is what I tell everybody when they're like, what's the triplex? I'm like, it's the pink drink. And that's what curbs your cravings and balances your blood sugar along with the probiotic and BioCleanse. I was like, the probiotic and BioCleanse work together to attack bad bacteria and rid it of all the bad stuff. So like the toilet, if you haven't seen it, there's like a visual of the toilet bowl cleaner and then like the flushing out. So I always explain people that's what it is. Like they work together. And that's why triplex is so important, because it works from the gut and it's attacking all that buildup in your outer lining of your gut, and it's flushing it out to get rid of like the acne and the headaches and the migraines and everything that internal gut stuff happens. And that's why I lost inches. When I never lost a lot of weight, maybe a couple pounds, but inches more, because my like inner waistline, like I could see it like dent in. I'm like, huh. What's that? Well, it's because I had so much buildup in the inside of my gut that it ate it all away and flushed it out. And then you wake up feeling skinny. And I can say skinny, but it's really not bloated. I mean, I'm thin, but I've never felt skinny before plexus. And now I feel like healthy and thin, and like I can feel my abs when I flex. And so that's kind of what the triplex does together is, it just flushes everything out from the inside out. So that's why where they say the healthy from the inside out, that's why the triplex is so much of that, because those three things together work just to like decompose your inner lining in a good way to flush it out to make you feel good. In turn, you're starting to feel so good that you have all those die-off symptoms because your gut liner is dying off, which causes you to feel bloating and all that. That's why water is so important to flush all that out. So hopefully maybe that makes a little more sense.
That's a really good explanation. Hey, I'm going to stop recording if we don't have any more questions.